You're listening to Darling Shine, a podcast by Ellidy Pullin and myself, Chloe Fisher.
Darling Shine is your survival kit to the unexpected shit life throws at you. Darlings, I'm loving this. Today's episode is brought to you by Luna Lane. Anything that makes me look put together with zero effort is a yes from me. Their linen sets come in multiple colours. Obviously, my favourite is the green, and I get asked 4 million times a day when I wear it where it's from. Head to their Instagram at luna.lane.label. They bring out new pieces every month.
We are all about supporting small businesses and are very excited to share with you today one of our favourite clothing brands by two mums based out of Sydney. We absolutely love that each piece is created with an ethical consideration at heart, designed to be loved and lived in. You can thank us later when you use our code DarlingShine for a huge 25% off. Code is valid to the 6th of May.
Okay, darlings. Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you do not have to have your life figured out by the time you are 20.
I mean, from someone who's still in their 20s.
Look, I'm 29. I'm nearly 30, but like I barely knew how to spell my own fucking name when I was like 20.
It is a hard name to spell as a child.
It is. Oh, what pisses me off is everyone's like, so it's like Melody without the M, and I'm like, shut up, it's Ellidy, figure it out.
Ellidy.
Yeah.
Straight Ellidy.
But don't you reckon people, like I used to think like when I was like a grommet, like, oh my God, by the time I'm 23, I've got to have like 100 kids, have a house to live, like be like so set up and rah, rah, rah. And that's just not realistic.
Yeah, and I think as well you expect yourself that you should have everything all figured out in your 20s. And when we were younger, we'd look at people that are like 30 and be like, oh, they're old, like they're actual parents. And now being 30, I look back, I'm like, I actually still feel like I'm in my 20s.
Yeah.
I actually do. Like I don't feel in my 30s.
I mean, you and me are both technically, obviously, adults. We both actually do own our own houses. And now that I've got a kid, and I'm quickly realising that I look at older people, like I look at my mum and realise all of a sudden she actually doesn't have her life fucking even sorted out. Like, I mean, parents don't even have their life sorted out. I mean, I think we always think when we get to that age we have to be this and that. They don't fucking even know what they're doing. We're all just moseying along, trying to follow our foots and
I actually think that your 20s is all about having fun and like you just don't need to have it all worked out.
Yeah. And when I say like my mum, I don't mean like her. She does have her shit together, but I just mean adults in general. Like, you know, it's no one has it fucking together.
Age kind of doesn't really mean
Age
much.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we put so much pressure on ourselves when we're young we think this and that. We think we've got to have all this money and have our careers sorted and like, yeah, we're going to jump straight in.
Newsflash, you don't.
You definitely don't. So cut yourself some slack, honestly. Like do you have regrets, like things that you wish you did, or I mean, not that you should ever look back.
I mean, I think I've said this before on an episode before that like this is the lamest regret ever. But one of my biggest regrets growing up in my teens and in my early 20s, I guess I wasn't ever living in home. I wasn't really living at home from maybe like my early 20s. But I wish I rebelled a little bit more and gave my parents a little bit more grief because I sound like such a
gave
loser.
my parents a bit more grief.
Well, no, seriously, like I honestly through all of high school and like through all my early 20s, like I was an angel, and I know that sounds so lame, but like I never broke any rules, and
you were
hate
a good
that.
boy.
I wish I broke more rules, like took a little bit more risk because I knew what I wanted. I was very regimented. I didn't.
Your mum would be like, "Don't eat the cake," and you like wouldn't eat it.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have eaten the cake.
Fuck?
But I wasn't the only one. All of my siblings are all like that as well. Like they absolutely drew the lucky, like they had the lotto when they came to 4 kids because like none of us actually rebelled at all.
Well, I think it says a lot about
boring
your parents, like that. You know, you guys just you were well trained.
I never snuck out once.
Yeah, I was a bad boy.
That's so lame.
No, that's not lame.
No,
I mean, yeah, it's a bit fucking
now
lame.
looking back, I'm like, I wish.
Yeah, nah. You had as much fun as each other, and then you started getting a bit naughty like later, don't you reckon?
Oh, did I?
Yeah, well, like you've just done heaps of fun shit.
Yeah, okay.
Fun doesn't mean you have to be a bad boy.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I also had a boyfriend like my whole like from 17 through 21 and then I met Paul like very soon after that. So I've been in a relationship since I was 17.
Do you know what I want to actually, you've just reminded me, because I was the same. Me and Chlo actually we both were in relationships before Chump and Fish, and then we both, don't you reckon, we kind of went straight from those relationships-ish to these ones. And I mean, fate, for us, it just was absolutely perfect. But what I do wish, I don't know if you ever look back and think this, I wish I embraced my independent, I mean, we're both super independent. That's just a coincidence. But I wish I did embrace like being just super rogue and single for a while.
Yeah.
Like just doing me, but it just, the timelines just didn't add up, and I would never regret that, because like I'm so stoked with when everything fell into place. But because I look at friends who do go from, like some of our friends do go from guy to guy to guy, and maybe it hasn't worked out that they've found the right guy, but they do feel like maybe they aren't comfortable on their own. And I don't mean some of our friends, but just heaps of chicks in general. Don't you think lots of people?
Yeah, I feel like now looking back, I actually, if Paul and I, something was to ever happen, I actually don't know what I would do on my own.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been thrown into the deep ends. You've worked it out.
Yeah. I know that you would be the same as me. And I think it's about, but
yours wasn't by choice.
It wasn't
like
by
if
choice.
For some reason you and your partner split up by choice, it'd be a different ball game, I feel like. Yeah,
fucking oath, yeah.
Navigating relationships.
I just think it is such an important one to just the pressure of marriage and kids and the body clock. I mean, it is scary because there is that body clock, but just stop thinking you've got to be in a relationship, because when you force it, you're not going to be truly in love. You're not going to find the exact right person when you force it. You're always going to be going out with duds.
And if there's any questions at all, if there's any if you're questioning a relationship at all, I think that it's just safe to say pull the pin, because you don't need generally the grass isn't greener on the other side.
That's the other thing. If you are single, stop looking at your friends that are in what you would think as perfect relationships, because you don't know what happens behind closed doors. The grass is not always greener. And hey, we know heaps of people that were in perfect relationships and then they finally get married or something, or you think they're just in perfect relationships forever, and then they fucking just randomly divorce or break up, and you're like, oh, I thought that was the dream couple. I wanted that, da. And you just don't know. So it's just an individual case by case scenario. So don't look at other people and wish you had what they had. Yes, obviously you can have your dreams, but just fucking do you and just be comfortable with that. You're a different person.
Yeah.
Like
another thing that I wish that I did, and I know that you've done it a lot, and we spoke about it in a previous episode about the Matthew McConaughey journaling. I wish I journaled, and I still don't really do it well now, but I wish from growing up, and I wish that in my early 20s or even when I was at school, I would keep a journal next to my bed, and before I go to bed, write thoughts each night or every couple of nights, and just to look back on. I think that would be so awesome. Like what he was talking about, that list of goals that he set himself nearly 20 years ago. Yeah. I think that that's just so cool to look like. That'd be amazing to look back on, but you got to start somewhere. So I think that if there's a piece of advice in that, it'd be pick up a pen and paper, get a book, and just journal stuff, because don't throw it out. Like Paul used to journal heaps when he was younger, and those books, I think that they're in a bag in America, and he's just got heaps of them because he used to love doing that, and he used to write about all of his trips and when he was a surfer, and when he used to go around the globe, he used to journal. Yeah, when he was on the road.
Did he write
himself?
I want to become a professional DJ.
Oh, I honestly haven't read them, but yeah, he used to journal. So yeah, I hope one day if we do it, if he ever does a doco or something like that, it'd be so cool to read back on those. Got to find them first, but they're somewhere.
Well, I mean, when we're 40, we're going to be looking back on the journals that we've written the last year and be like, wow, 10 years later, this is what we were thinking and saying and doing. And
so definitely journal if you can.
But I didn't do it before. I've only done it the past year and a half since Chump, really. I didn't really journal before ever.
And another thing that I also really wish that I did, which I feel like when you're younger, unless you're in a band, it's a bit not cool to know an instrument, but I bloody wish. No, I think that I used to be I'm not learning. When you're in high school, I didn't love music classes. I thought it was a bit lame. I actually did.
The nerds did music,
I just didn't like music. I was like, that is so boring. You used to get forced to do music classes, and I'm like, ugh. But now looking back, I really do wish that I learnt an instrument, whether that had been the guitar. I'd love to learn the piano.
It is so true because it was like, you
Yeah.
know, the creatives were
Like
like.
I did drama, but like I was like never into music, and I really wish that I learned.
Yeah,
I want to get a
same.
piano. Imagine being able to play the
Yeah,
piano. Like, you know, when you like, we used to, when we travel around, and we have our big groups with us when we travel, like Paul's management and like
Yeah.
other artists and their wives and all that. We'd like have a night out where the boys would play, and we'd come back to the hotel, and if there was ever like a piano
Instruments,
in the hotel lobby, we'd all had a few drinks, and we'd all like pile
So
around the
fun.
piano, and a few of them could actually play the piano.
Yeah,
So we'd all
and
just
people
be
can
singing
sing.
and like it was so fun. I'm like, how do you learn that? And
Yeah.
some of them have just learned just through apps and stuff like that, but just full self-taught.
Yeah. Well, that's like Chump. I always used to watch him if ever we were at an event. People would just be like, "Oi, here's a guitar. Can you play
Yeah.
something?" And he just draws this epic
Yeah.
like energy
Yeah.
and crowd, and people just love it. And you just provide literally like free entertainment for your friends. People just freaking love it.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, don't be a loser and think being a creative is not cool. Be a bloody creative if you can.
Yes, if
Open
you
up
have the
that-
opportunity,
a third eye.
for sure, learn an instrument and also a language. That's another thing.
I'm a talentless fuck. I can't draw. I can't sing. I can't dance. I can't sing. No, I can't play any instrument. Like,
Yeah,
I want
I
to
feel
get.
like that as well. I was just saying to one of the boys in America, we went, I think we're going to like the hardware store or something, and he was just like, what's your purpose? Like, it's funny because we actually are going to speak about purpose in life, and he's like, what's your purpose? Like, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? And I'm like, that's a really good question. Like, I just think that I want to be a mum. Like, and he's like, no, like you have, like, what are you good at? And I'm like,
You're good at.
no, I was like, I actually don't know. Like,
You're good at
I'm
Excel
good at
spreadsheets.
organizing stuff. I'm good at, you know, that. But he's
You're
just
an
like,
events
no,
manager.
but like, let's try and get a hobby, or let's get a little passion thing for you. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I would love to try and learn. When my wrist is better, I'm going to be like a full athlete. I'm going to just learn how to play tennis. I'm going to do tennis lessons.
yeah.
I want to learn how to play golf. I'm going to do
Yeah.
all these
well, that's
things.
the thing.
But I'm a
We're
bit
sitting
crippled
here
now.
saying, "Oh, we wish we did this and we did that," but we could learn how to play guitar now. We could
Fully.
learn piano. We can learn. We could just go to singing or dancing classes or some shit like that. I mean, we
Please, can we
should.
do dance classes?
Let's do it to be that funny.
Jazz.
Yeah, hip hop, bro. Yeah, I mean,
I'm doing Spanish lessons, so that's not going so
Yeah,
great.
it's never too late. That's the thing. I mean, I'm definitely not going to do it because I'm a pussy. I'm not just going to. I mean, I should.
Okay, so what are some of your regrets, Elle? Regrets.
Definitely no regrets, but big regrets of. Do you know what? And this is so. I hate myself for saying this, but I actually really regret going to uni.
Yeah.
It was a bloody waste of time for me. I'm not an
So happy I
academic.
didn't,
I hate sitting at a fucking computer. Like, what a
Yes,
waste of time
I
for me.
can
I
vouch
couldn't
for
wait
that.
to get out of school. But then I was like, Mummy wants me to go to uni. Wow, let's enroll. And I just shouldn't have done that. Bloody waste of time. Definitely didn't need it for Darling Shine. No, but I didn't need it for any of the jobs I've done. I did 3 years doing PR and business, a business degree. I did a year of nursing, do you know what? I regret not taking my nursing further and becoming a full RN, which is a registered nurse. I just did my endorsed enrolled nursing, which is cool because I would love to be a midwife, but I think I was a bit young and I was a bit, the
I
whole
know
thing
a
was
few people
so
that have
scary.
gone into nursing and then gone into midwifery and then just freak the fuck out because it's
so
just too much
scary.
at a young age.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you don't need to rush into things like that after school. If you want to have a few years off, go traveling or just save some money, just work and then go into uni later when you've got more of a clear head, because I had this thing in my head that I had to smash uni out and be like really young when I finished uni so then I could dive into a career. I don't know what I was thinking because I'm not a career-driven person.
I think it's all just about how that every individual person has different like desires, and when you finish school, some people know exactly what they want to do, and that is absolutely fine. Dive into uni, go and do that. If you want to be a nurse and you know that you want to be a nurse, go and do that. If you want to be a school teacher, go and do that. But for people that are unsure and they're like, I'm just going to go and do a communication and
sit
what
on
is
the
it
fence
like?
for a
You know
bit.
what those
the arts degree.
Yeah, the one how it's just like communication, a bachelor of communication, just because they want going to go to uni. I think that
They just want
they're
the
the people
degree.
that are a little bit. I don't know. It's hard because I don't want to be saying don't go to uni,
Yeah.
but at the same time, don't go to uni.
Personally, no, go to uni, but personally, I actually do regret that because I do have a HEX debt and I just feel like it's stupid and useless for me and I hated the whole time and I don't know why I fucking did it. I literally think I did it to like be like, I have a degree.
Yeah.
Biggest dumbass with a degree. Wow.
Yeah, fully.
Don't also – the other thing I was really afraid of was failure, and I used to look at Chloe who set up a Lowy when we were so young. You did your Lowy swimwear business, and I was like,
20.
oh, my God, you are just so ballsy and wow, that's amazing. And, look, it is so doable to do that, but I had lots of little ideas and I was just always so scared of failure. I was like, what will people think? Like, you know, what if it doesn't work out? And fuck – you live and you learn, and if it doesn't work out, cool, start the next one and you'll figure it out. Yeah. I really have regret. Like, I just think just dive in. Yeah. I would just dive in now. I've got way more balls now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember when I was 19 and I was about to turn 20 and I literally had in my head like, okay, now that I'm 20, like 20 is like a massive number. I thought I was like turning 50. I was like, I've got to stop drinking. I've got to be so serious. I've just got to, I thought I just had to like suddenly become this boring fucking person. And I just... Yeah, I mean, that lasted a day, obviously. But did you ever think that? I thought when I had to turn a certain age, I had to just switch to adult mode quickly or something. I remember doing that.
Well, I moved to America when I was 21 with Paul. Yeah. So I kind of like missed out a bit of a chunk of like reality back here.
Yeah, you did actually.
But in saying that, I worked my whole, I didn't go over there with like nothing. I like you, I worked since I was 12 or 13 everywhere, and I didn't stop working until I've never stopped working, but like when I moved to America, obviously I couldn't work over there, but I went over there with a chunk of money because I've always worked my whole life, and that's just how my parents brought me up. I never got anything handed to me.
Nah, no, oh fuck no. I was paying rent when I was fucking born.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and me were always really good savers. Like as soon as we were like allowed to work, we were working, little cafe jobs after school. I was working at nursing homes after school, like everything I could do.
Delight.
Yeah.
Woolies.
Woolies. We both loved Woolies. We were both always saving. I had heaps of money. I was like way richer back then than I am now. So we saved up and then we could afford to travel. And I just think lots of people have it in their head like, do I travel or do I work?
Yeah.
It is a bit of a catch-22.
It's a hard one because like I do believe that your 20s isn't all about focusing on your career. I think that you should it's really hard as well for kids this day and age in their 20s because of this or the whole COVID pandemic. They've lost 2 years of their life. Oh. So those 2 years would be like the best times when they're meant to be going and traveling and like experiencing different cultures and getting overseas, living abroad, taking a gap year. Some people have actually lost that whole chunk of their life, and then they've like woken up and they've come out of this pandemic, where we are now, and they've lost time in a sense that like now they kind of do need to start thinking about the serious stuff in their career and all that sort of thing. So
they don't say that. I mean, it's 2 years. What's 2 years? Like it's been 2 years, but yeah, it is a bit, that is hectic that they have kind of essentially lost 2 years where they could be out meeting people out,
hopefully everyone took advantage of that and worked.
Yeah. But
saved up some money.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. While they couldn't travel. But yes, so I would say just be a yes man, like travel, party, have fun.
Yeah.
If there's opportunities, if someone's asking you to come and do something and it sounds really fun,
go and do it.
You might die tomorrow, mate.
Yeah, fully.
Just don't be a pussy. Jump straight in.
We actually had a listener write in and ask the question, do I save to travel or save to buy a house? And we were kind of debating this one, and I don't really know how to advise that answer. I would I think that maybe you can do both. You need to have like a pocket for the house and a pocket for the travel and put a bit aside in both.
Don't be an idiot. Don't travel if you've got like $1 to your name and just
obviously. But maybe you do you save up your big chunk of your money to do the traveling, and consistently you are putting a small amount away for your house, so you're still adding to that and you're still gaining interest and all that sort of stuff. but then you do your bit of your travel stint, whether that is for a couple of months, and then you come home, and then that travel fund, it kind of like reverses, and you do the little bit of money into the travel fund and the big bit of the money that's going into the savings into the mortgage fund.
Yeah. I mean, truthfully, money definitely does not buy happiness, really. Experiences definitely do, and you have memories forever. So I would say travel, but then then you have have some sensibility about you. You can't just travel with no money.
Yeah.
That is a really hard one, and it's obviously going to be based on each individual, because some people, they just want the stability of having their unit or their house or whatever they can afford.
And each their own as well. Like what we're saying, like all of this is just completely coming from our point of view on what we would do and what we wish we had done, but some people have their heads switched on a little bit different to what we do.
Yeah.
So don't take our word for it.
Yeah, adventures for me bring happiness to me, not things, really. That's me. But then I am lucky enough that I do have some things as well, like, my house and stuff. So.
And then I think what we kind of touched on before is a big one is about in your 20s, it's about finding your purpose and spending time with just you. And I think this is a big one because I feel like you're trying to give so much of yourself and like overexert yourself so much in your 20s. Like you're like an Energizer bunny. But I do wish that I actually spent more time alone, and I wish that I spent more time understanding myself and, self-care and doing all those like yoga and meditation and all that sort of thing, because I just didn't do that.
Do you remember like maybe 5-10 years ago when people would be like, yeah, I'm meditating or something, you'd be like, what a freak, what the hell does that even mean? Like, do you kind of remember?
I remember that. Or yoga, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to do that, that's boring. Like, where are you, like, from Byron Bay or something?
Yeah, no, definitely wish I started yoga a lot younger. And what you said, like being in tune with ourselves and our bodies and finding that mindfulness and meditating for sure. I still don't know how to. I'm still not. But
I love it now. I just wish that I did that way earlier on. Like if I practiced yoga and I practiced meditation in my early 20s, I think that it would be a whole different ball game. We become so self-aware.
And you self-reflect more, and you just start to think and look at the bigger picture in life, don't you think?
And then I think as well, you just continuously question yourself. Like, don't ever settle for anything. Like, you need to find what makes you happy. Don't worry about anyone else, because they actually don't really worry about you. You need to like focus on you. Like, and we said before, find your hobbies, find a sport, find a team that you like to be involved in. And
no one's going to look out for you like you look out for yourself. Don't be bloody fooled.
Yeah, and then
if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, you're not a damn fucking tree. You can move. You can literally pick yourself up and you can move. You can move away. You can move suburb. You can literally change your job, change what you're doing. You're not like stuck. Yeah. Isn't that true? You're not a tree. You're not like growing roots in the ground. You can like shake it up. You can fucking move and change.
Uplift
and uproot. No, but change. And that's the other thing, like in relationships, if you're stuck in, a toxic relationship, or if you're feeling like you're being controlled, or if someone's not letting you see your friends or something weird like that happens. That's a common thing. Get out of that relationship. Don't and that's easier said than done, because some people can't get out of relationships because of many different reasons, but you need to call that helpline or get yourself out of there. Don't be afraid of change.
Yeah, I love change, and I used to be afraid of change. I used to really love stability, and don't get me wrong, I still like routine, but I feel like I get itchy feet when I'm in one spot for too long.
We're
now
very
because
adaptable.
I'm so used to being life on the road.
Yeah.
Like I've been here home for a few months now, and I'm worried like, okay, when can I go on my next trip, But and then another one is to find, back to sort of the hobby thing, find your passion. Like what do you actually like doing? Here's a quick word from our sponsor, Luna Lane. I'm all about pieces that you can mix and match and get years of wear out of. My new fave is their pink striped collared shirt. Obsessed with how comfortable it is. It looks epic dressed up with denim, but also with a crop and some bike shorts. Nailed it, ladies.
stunning. You can head to lunarln.com to check out the rest of their colours and use code DarlingShine for 25% off. Code is valid until the 6th of May.
And if you can try and find a career that sort of intercepts this, that is just like the
Bingo.
golden ticket.
That's bloody bingo for you.
That's where I kind of came up with my swimwear label. I loved swimwear. I loved going to the beach.
Yeah.
I really lived and breathed that lifestyle. So I was like, what am I going to do that I can keep this lifestyle and keep doing doing this? And then I thought, no brainer, I'm going to start a swimwear label. I guess it was like, nearly like 10 years ago now, before swimwear was just every man and his dog was doing it.
And you could do it while you were travelling.
And I could do it while I was on the road. So it was so perfect.
That's the beauty of online businesses these days, like all this like online money that you can just be making, you know. Just give it a shot. Don't be afraid of failure, darlings.
But I would say also be conservative too, because I when it comes to starting your own business, don't like borrow, unless it's a hard one to say. Like, I wouldn't recommend borrowing $100,000 and chucking something in the deep end if you don't know if it's going to work and it's not being tried and tested. Whereas I think I started with a couple of grand and a couple of bikinis, you know what I mean? I started small and kind of got a feel for it. And
take risks, but also don't take risks that are too big. Take sensible risks.
Yeah.
It's such a funny one because like we're just like dive in, take life by the horns, but be careful and make sure you always have a savings account.
Yeah.
And just don't also take lives by the horns because it's a bit scary out there. It's a bloody jungle out there.
It is. It'll let you up.
Out in the wild.
And I really love this quote, work to live, not live to work. I love that one.
It's a simple one.
Another quote we love was by our good friend Steve Jobs. We all know about him now.
He's a good mate.
It says, don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And I think that's such a great one too, because you know what's best for you. We've said this before. Your parents don't know what's best for you. Sorry, parents. And neither do your friends. You need to just trust your gut.
Bloody oath.
I'm all about that. Okay. I'm just going to throw a few little recommendations out there because I've got 2 books that I really, really have loved reading. And the first one is by Eckhart Tolle. It's called The Now. And a quote that he says was, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. We love that. We live for that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And then another book that I really love, I think it was one of my favorite books that I've ever read. And it's called The 5 a.m. Club. And it's by Robin Sharma. Any books by Robin Sharma that I've read are great. He writes another one called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, unreal. So there's a few little recommendations for you guys if you're bookworm or the bookworms out there. I know Ellidy won't read them.
No,
but
I was going to say, do we have to hear about the 5 a.m. club every episode?
Have we spoken about that before?
I feel like I've heard it 17 times.
I think I just tell you about it all the time. I rave about it. I love it. Have we
Look,
really?
I can't talk. I need to bloody read a book. But yeah, literally be present.
At least I know your ears work.
Yeah, no, I listen. Like, I do listen, doll. Definitely being present. Chump definitely taught me how to be present. Some days he'd just like knock on my head and be like, where are you? Like, wake up. You're in fucking fairyland. And yeah, since he's been gone, I'm just like, be present, like be in the moment. So then you can respond to the situation instead of thinking too far ahead about what's happening in 5 minutes. Be in the now. You know, so important. It's nothing worse than speaking to someone who is not present, not there. Hate that. Do you know what's a massive one which we need to touch on? And that's body image in the current climate that we're bloody in with Instagram, social media, everyone flaunting their stuff. And you feel like
I wonder if like looking back now, like when we were in our early 20s compared to girls that are in their early 20s now, what they will be like when they're our age.
Oh, God.
Because we didn't have, growing up, we never had Instagram, we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have any of those. I actually want to do one of those filter things on Instagram where it's like,
oh yeah,
no filter, and it's just so crazy how people can create these personas and create these images of themselves that are just not them. And that's what I think young girls need to understand, that anything that you see online, even if it doesn't look like it's been touched up, it can actually have been touched up. Like there's so many apps out there.
Yeah, but people paint a picture of their lives as well. Like it's not always about, you know, what people look like. Like people will flaunt you know, all their designer shit all over social media, and you'll be there watching it feeling like the poorest person and comparing yourself to that person's house, that person's money, that person's companies that they've set up, and just is so not healthy to do that. Again, the grass is not always greener. A lot of the time they've got more problems and stress, and they're actually not happy because they're on here having to flaunt it. And just literally everything. Like, people are like to me, and we're all guilty of this, but people are like to me, Minnie's so amazing. She doesn't cry ever. She's always asleep. And mate, she is squawking 99% of the time. But when she's like that, I'm just not filming her because my hands are tied trying to wrangle her. When she's asleep is when I can get the good content of her. Like physically, you know what I mean?
No, I know.
And people are always like to me, how are you so happy all the time after you've been through all this shit? And again, when I'm crying, when I'm having a moment, but very few people see that. Or, you know, I'm not filming it for you guys to see on my stories. And I could do that to be more real. But when I'm in those moments, I don't think to pick up the phone and do it. So yeah, don't everything that you see is definitely not what you get.
Yeah, 100%. And it is very hard to talk about that body image topic on here because it was so different to what we had, and we just didn't have anything to compare to. But yeah, if you can try your best, maybe even if it's just a matter of having some turn off your phone of an evening, or, you know, try and get some time out from social media, or, you know, maybe once a month you're not on it over the weekend, or just try your best to have the downtime and off it so you're not constantly all over it and watching what everyone else is doing.
It's like
I like having that.
Social media is
Detox.
like a bloody Betty Crocker cake mix box, because you go and try and make it and it looks nothing like the fucking photo. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone's just catfishing you, doll.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so funny.
Or like, you know, when you go to drive.
I was waiting to see where that Betty Crocker box was going.
You go to drive through and like the burgers look that good, and then you get your pussy little burger and you're like, fuck me, there's barely a pickle on this.
Or it's like smeared up the side of the buns.
Like the pictures, you know, it's not real life, doll. So look, we say this all the time, but find your tribe and love them hard. You just give back to the people. Drown them in love, smother them, tackle them. I know I feel like I don't know, do you, like, I really appreciate everyone around me. Like, don't be afraid to be like, I love you. Thank you for everything you do. Like, give back. Like, I just think appreciate those around you.
Don't take advantage of if you've got some good friends. And even if it's just a handful of them, then that's fine. You don't need to have a huge tribe.
Over quantity.
Quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
All about that.
Yeah. Lots of people said, how do you have so many friends? Blah, blah, blah. But, mate, don't compare. We have some really, really, really good friends, and then we do have a big group of everyone else, and they are all awesome. But if you've got a couple of key friends, one good friend is better than 20 mediocre fucking friends.
I fully agree with
100%. And also, when it comes to friends, don't let them con you into pyramid schemes.
Fully.
Pyramid schemes are not the answer.
No, they're not. I have been absolutely roped into a few decent pyramid schemes by friends.
No, but and by randoms. I remember when I was like just finished school, I was like to Mum, I've got this random message me on Facebook, Mum, saying I can make all this money. I just have to do this and that. And she's like, mate, if it sounds too good to be true, it definitely is. And you know, just people sell you the bloody dream, but...
So for those who don't know what a pyramid scheme is when people come and they ask you for money and they think that it's basically, if you imagine what a pyramid looks like, the guy at the top's making all the money, and then you trickle down the tree and you're meant to bring people it underneath your tree, and
it's torture.
I've been in a few, I reckon I've lost a couple of grand, definitely. It's a pyramid schemes, for sure. One was like a
travel one.
Oh, that one was a real brutal one. That was one. It was called actually, I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. It's like I've got PTSD.
Like Chloe Worldwide or something.
It wasn't Chloe Worldwide.
It was called Chloe Worldwide.
No, it wasn't.
Been PTSD from that one.
No, I do.
Why?
No, don't. You're stressing me out.
You know from
I
Step Brothers?
hate pyramid schemes. They freak me out.
You know,
don't ever do it, people. They're a scam and they're illegal. So don't do them.
I'm just thinking about like on Step
I'd have so
Brothers
much
when they
more
like
money.
put the projector up and the parents are trying to eat dinner and
Yes.
the two like dodo
exactly
Step
what it
Brothers are just like presenting prestige worldwide.
Oh my God, seriously, far out.
Yeah, no, if it sounds too good to be true,
It
it's 100%.
generally is.
Yeah,
So-
don't even go down that fucking rabbit hole. It's hilarious.
And a lot of people were asking us about as well when we were younger and growing up how we used to fund things, and I bought my first car. Did you buy your first
Yeah.
car?
What are you
Do you remember what you
talking about?
had? What did you have?
I had Nigel. It was a little
Nigel?
yeah,
Did you name
Mazda 2, a little one of the little white box ones.
Oh,
do you remember that one? You
yeah,
had the
I
little
do.
Gets,
Yeah,
the
I
little
got a
green one.
Hyundai, a little green jelly bean Gets.
Yeah, we both had little cute cars.
It's like $7,000 or something back then. That's like a lot of money for a Hyundai
yeah,
Gets.
mine was 11. Bought it off my popper.
Yeah, first cars. And then I saved up for that, got out a personal loan. Oh, yeah, about loans. Take them out if you need them for sure, but make sure you got a job to repay them, to make the repayments. You don't want to be taking out loans and then having to take a loan to pay the loan, because I actually know people that have done that. No, I actually know the
That
people
would
that have
happen
like
all the time. Take a loan to pay your credit card off and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
I actually think
have you done that?
yeah, but not in a bad way, but because I'm so like, I was always about like numbers and stuff in my head. So I was always shopping around with best interest rates. I'm a full nerd. So if I had a bank loan that I was paying X amount of interest on, but then I could get, if I had a credit card and I was paying X amount of interest on my credit card, but then I could get a bank loan and I could be paying less interest, I would get the bank loan out to pay the credit card off and then pay the bank loan off, because I was making money
I've
basically.
still to this day never actually had a credit card, and people were
Really?
like, that's so not right, because you want to spend on the credit card and pay
get
it
a
back
credit
so
rating,
it looks good.
yeah.
I don't know, I've never done it. It scared me. It's
I
always
used
scared
to
me.
I used to like get the American Express credit cards, and I there's like one with 0%, 0 per annum. No, there's interest, but like I used to be a freak and try and collect frequent flyer points, because you get, not that you get fucking anything from it. You don't get nearly enough. But basically I would have it set up so I would put everywhere that I could take that would take American Express, I would put everything on American Express, but then I would have it set up so it would direct debit straight out of my bank account at the end of each month. So I was never actually paying interest, because I was paying it off every month.
Yeah, so get a credit card and be a good boy about it if you're going to be a smart boy. Do you remember back in the day, like you used to not go, like right now I pretty much go out for breakfast, lunch and dinner. I spend all my money on food. Like I regret it every day, but I still do it the next day. I mean, I might try and learn how to not do that. I don't
do that. I'm very big
I
about,
go out.
I do my grocery shopping and I like cooking at home and
I used to.
Yeah,
used to
I'm
cook
not
a lot.
I'm not a big, like I like to go out and wine and dine for sure, do not get me wrong, but I'm not someone that would go out and have like just like lunch because I'm
exaggerating. I don't mean like every day, but so much money goes to food for me. It's fucking dumb. So yes, I mean, I should practice what I preach, but definitely could add up a lot of money that we should save on not buying food out.
Yeah. We have a listener question here as well, and it says, moving in with your partner and splitting bills and groceries, etc. How do you go about doing that? We were never. I definitely know people that would move in together with their partners and they'd have this big debacle about splitting bills. Like, you owe me $5 and you owe me this.
I've always had everything joint with Chum.
Right.
However, from forever.
Really?
But what I would do, and I know like our friends do that have everything separate, is like you have, because if you live together, you do have like a joint card. Like go and set up like an ING account where each week you pay $200 into that account. That's where your groceries and stuff like that come out together. Or even if you two are going out for dinner together, you pay on that card because you've both put into it.
I've always been so big on paying for stuff. And like, I think a lot of people would look at us and be like, oh, Paul's, making money and he's traveling the world and all this, like, Chloe just must get it all.
People
but like,
do think that,
I'm very, very, very strict with like, no, I need to pay for, half
She's
of
a big
everything.
boy with her own money. You work
most of,
hard.
as much as I possibly can. I obviously don't have a proper full-time job and a proper crazy career like he does.
This is fucking full-time. Are you kidding? I've been chained
No, but
to
you
this
know what I
desk for
mean.
a
Like,
week.
where I've been self-employed my whole life, I've never had a consistent wage where someone's paying me. I'm always paying myself. But generally, most of the time, I'd be keeping all the money in the business. So I haven't been able to build up as much savings as I would. I've actually saved up quite a lot of money. But yeah, I'm very, very big about I like to buy my own stuff as well. I don't like Paul and I. It's not just all him. So
yeah. So advice to the listeners would be
it's a case by case. Like it's a case by case. Your partner, and it just depends on your relationship with your partner and how what he might be think very strongly about joining bank accounts and you might not. And I think it's just all about compromise. You need to sit down together. You need to talk it out. I'm all about like writing down the pros, writing down the cons, and just coming to a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
Because you might not both want to do it, and that's fine. It's totally fine. Like I don't do it. But you just have to be honest with each other, and you have to have your bills that you're paying, and he has to have his bills that he's paying.
Don't let someone mooch off you as well. Like we have another question. My partner can never afford to travel because he sucks at saving. Do I keep paying? No, mate. Cut him off. Cut him off at the minibar. He is not getting paid to fucking travel with you anymore. He can pull his weight.
Yeah, that's stupid. I'd be saying a big fat note. I'd even be reconsidering that relationship. If I had a partner that was just like,
get out of there.
Yeah.
Don't be silly. He's a mooch.
Yeah, no, we don't do mooches.
No, yeah.
But then another thing that they were asking was like, okay, so I do join the bank accounts. How do I buy silly stuff that I want to buy that like I don't want my partner to know about?
Oh, darling.
You can tell us this
obviously, I never had this because Chump was a fucking legend. But you always have, like everyone tells you this. Everyone says, you have another account on the side that you need to get your tings, whatever you get done to your head and stuff done. Like chicks have their things that they do. You have another account for that, to buy your things that you don't want him seeing. 100%.
Okay.
I mean, chicks even have different addresses, like their friends' addresses that they send all the packages to that they buy. Yeah, they don't want their husband seeing all the packages that they bloody buy themselves every day. And Afterpay as well, darlings. Don't you reckon everyone just whacks it on Afterpay? The husbands don't know. Absolutely. Don't be silly. Really? But also, do you know what's another really good one? And I remember when I was working full-time and my employer would set this up, and someone I worked with was always having her... And this is a thing you can ask your employer if you're on a salary. I'm 99% sure you can do this. You can say to them, can you pay 70% of my salary into this account? So maybe your joint account with your partner, and then 30% or whatever into this separate account. And it's just an automatic thing that they can.
I thought that was something that you had to do yourself.
I'm at 99.99%.
Bit of admin.
No, it's a set up once thing if you're on a salary, and they can put like X amount, even if it's $100 into this account per week, and the rest can go there.
Sneaky.
And it's just a press of a button for them. Like it's just
sneaky society.
Because you can set up as well to pay extra tax each pay cycle, so that you get more back at, it's just like that. It's just like setting up something like that. It's easy peasy.
Yeah. And then I feel like the number one finance tip that I have for people, and I loved it, and Ellidy's definitely not read it, but if anyone's read The Barefoot Investor, they've got it as an audiobook, but I would recommend reading it because it has a lot of graphs and charts, and like I think it's funny because whenever I'm at the supermarket or wherever I'm out and I see someone with that orange ING card, I'm like, they've read The Barefoot Investor, because he saves you so much money, especially when you're traveling. If you're going overseas, 100% get an ING orange card, because it refunds you any bank fees or any conversion rate. So you can go to every single ATM anywhere, and it's like sometimes it costs you like $20 to get money out in like European ATMs, and they'll just go straight into your bank account, refund them $20. It's amazing. Wow. But another thing that, like, there's so many topics that he covers in this book, and I've written a few of them down, and a few of them are saving up a 6-figure house deposit in 20 months. Like, these are legit strategies that he feeds you word for word, and a lot of people have got a lot of success out of reading his books. Doubling your income using the trapeze strategy, saving $78,000 on your mortgage and wiping 7 years off your payments.
Sounds a bit too good to be true.
No,
though.
Seriously, if you read the book, you would understand that, but you have to follow it to a T.
Okay.
And then finding a financial advisor that doesn't rip you off, and then handing your kids or grandkids a $140,000 check on the 21st birthday. And it's very easy. You need to go and get that.
Is it like $1 a week situation?
It's something like that. I honestly haven't read it for a few years, but I learnt so much from it, and I loved it. It was actually a little bit tricky for me to follow it to a T because I wasn't based in Australia, and you do have to have like a consistent, like You can do it from yourself, but it's more so if you're getting paid a salary or a wage from a company, it tells you how to split your money and make these different little accounts for like your holiday account or your mortgage account. And it's very good. I would highly recommend that book.
Smart little investments, like if you buy the damn coffee machine, if it means you won't buy coffee every day. I mean, look, I bought the coffee machine and I still buy coffee every day, but I'm a dumbass. But if you are one of those people that can buy the coffee machine and then not buy your coffee every day, you're going to save so much money when you add that up every year. Like people save like $1,500 on coffee.
I've been making coffees at home. I just don't think they ever taste the same though.
They're not
Don't
as
you
yum.
reckon?
No.
It's not as like creamy and frothy.
Just remember, we're going to be learning forever. Like until the day you die, you're still learning. No one's got everything figured out.
And I think it all just merges into one. So don't think you have to have it all figured out by your 20s.
Yeah.
We hope that we spoke about a lot of topics that even just have kind of made you curious to look into more, especially in the finance side of things. I was really interested in that when I was in my 20s. And like I said, I was always like looking at ways to save money or looking at like different investments and don't do the pyramid scheme. But yeah, we think that there's a lot of information in there that you guys should be able to get out of, and definitely buy the books and get your head into those books because I love them.
Definitely get your head into the books because when you think about it, man, you don't really know shit. So, but here's our 2 bobs worth dolls.
Oh, trip
Enjoy.
down memory lane.
Yeah, it was a little trip down mem lane, wasn't it? With our little cars, our little bubble cars.
So cute.
You had the green
Anyway,
one,
on that note, we're going to go now.
All right, peace.
Bye.
Welcome to our Asking for a Friend segment.
Yes, asking for a friend. You ask, we tell, right here, right now. So if you have a question, you can head to the link in our bio on Instagram, or we'll put it in our show notes. Send us the questions and we will answer them for your earholes. So the first question that we have today.
Isn't there just one question today?
Oh, no, there's 2.
Is there 2?
Yeah, I've got 2
Okay.
because I couldn't pick.
Okay, go.
Okay, so the first question I have is, I feel like I'm too young, I'm 23, to start a family with my fiance, but it's all that I think about.
You're having a laugh. If you're thinking about it, go for it.
Yeah, and that's what I reckon as well. Like if I've known forever that I want a kid, and I would have had a kid whether I liked it or not, like if I was in my early 20s, if I fell pregnant. So I think that you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. And like we've said so many times, like you do you. If you and your partner want to have a family, that is fine. Think about having a family when you're in your early 20s, how cool that would be, because then when you're 40, then you guys can fuck off and do your traveling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And enjoy when all your friends have got like 10-year-olds, you're like, see ya.
You can do it the other way around.
You can do it the other way around, and like, you know, you will have saved up all this money and you will be able to go on like cruise around the Greek islands and
If you're saying that's all you think about, I think there's a pretty good indicator that you're pretty keen.
Yeah, I agree.
And don't be afraid. You're not really too young. You are an adult. Like, as we said, no one really knows what they're doing, right?
Start the family, sis.
Yeah, go for it, doll.
Okay, and my second question that I have here is how to not be awkward when going to more social outings. I'm very introverted and spent 18 to 21 not going out or drinking, and I'm starting to feel so awkward and have a lot of anxiety.
Oh, the poor egg. You know what? I think a lot of people, and sorry, I shouldn't say the poor egg, a lot of people have social anxiety. Like, a lot of people just act
We've
tough
got a lot of
and
friends in
stuff.
our group that have got social anxiety.
Totally. And it's as simple as them saying, hey, Elle, I feel a bit anxious about going to that thing this other. Can we go together? And be like, fucking oath, we can go together.
Brief them in.
Yeah.
Give them a rundown. Not really feeling it. I'm feeling a bit anxious. I'm feeling a bit nervous. I don't know about being around this group. And 99.9% of the time, your mate will have your back.
Yeah. And once you get there, it's like the fear of getting there. And once you get there, you talk to like 2 people and you feel like you definitely do feel better. And sometimes you do just have to throw yourself in the deep end.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong with being introverted. We have all been there. We've all had anxiety. Sometimes, like Elle said, you just don't want to go to the party, and you don't have to go to the party.
Yeah, but if you want to go, lots of people have social anxiety.
Yeah, so you might find someone else there that's feeling the same as you. So if you can, speak to a few people, and yeah, I'm sure you'll feel much lighter.
That's all from us today.
If you have any questions as well, don't forget you can head to the link in our bio on our Instagram and send them in.